Hi everyone, it's me. So this week I wanted to do another video about words and phrases that are different between England and Canada. So these are just phrases and words and things that I've noticed as a Canadian. So I'm from Ontario and I'm now living in Kent, England. So these are specifically between Ontario and Kent, but you might hear them around each country. Now what's kind of crazy, and I never really thought of this before, but I get a lot of messages from people literally all around the world that watch these videos because they're learning English, which is so sweet, but also I'm so sorry. So without further ado, let's go. So one of the first differences that come to mind, I'll start with like the British version, the English version, is a dummy. So a dummy is something that you put in a kid's mouth to shut them up. So a dummy here in England, whereas in Canada and Ontario, I would say a soother. So I had a soother as a child, but a kid here would have a dummy. Soother, dummy, dummy, soother. Now the next one, I've actually switched to saying the English version. So here in England, you will hear a kitchen roll, okay? So a kitchen roll is a roll of disposable cloth, you know what I'm saying, that you have in the kitchen and you wipe things up with. Fantastic. In Canada, and I think most of North America, we would say paper towel. I mean, both of them make sense, although you don't always keep it in the kitchen. So paper towel is a bit more broad. It is paper. It's a towel made of paper that you use for spills. Kitchen roll is a roll that you usually have in the kitchen. Like, they both kind of make sense, but I find now I say kitchen roll instead of paper towel. I'm so glad you know that now. Now the next one is a little bit tricky, and I actually found this one really interesting. So here in England, you just had dinner and you'll say, okay, I'll do the washing up tonight. So I'll do the washing up. To someone from Canada or North America, I'll do the washing up doesn't really make sense because it's like, what are you doing exactly? But in England, you'll say that when you are going to wash the dishes. So I'm gonna do the washing up, whereas in Canada, and again, North America, we share a lot of the same words and phrases between the US and Canada. And we would tend to say, I'm going to do the dishes. So I'm gonna do the washing up versus I'm going to do the dishes. Now, I'm gonna do the dishes is very specific. You are doing the dishes, right? I'm gonna do the dishes versus I'm gonna do the washing up. Like, that can be a bit ambiguous for people who don't already know what that means. Now, what's clever about this is if you're talking about soap, which again, not interesting, but I find this really fascinating. When you go to the shop here in England, you would buy washing up liquid to do the washing up, right? So you buy washing up liquid to do the washing up. In Canada and in North America, you buy dish soap to use when you do the dishes or you wash the dishes. But I think do the dishes is a bit more common. Wash the dishes is a bit too much. You don't need to say wash. You're gonna do the dishes with dish soap. You're gonna do the washing up with washing up liquid. How weird. Another one that is very similar that is also confusing. Okay, so in England, you might say, I am going to do the washing, or maybe put the washing on. And for someone who doesn't know what that means, what are you washing? I don't know, you don't say. I'm just gonna do the washing. Whereas in Canada, and again, North America, we would say, I'm going to do the laundry, or I need to do the laundry. So again, it's a case of where the North American version is quite direct, it's quite obvious, and the English or British version is kind of ambiguous. It's kind of hard to remember, even for me sometimes, but here in England, gonna do the washing is laundry, doing the washing up is dishes. In Canada, doing the dishes is the dishes, and doing the laundry is the clothes. So definitely in English, it can be a bit tricky doing the washing up versus the washing. What a time to be alive. Next up is another really common one, a lorry. I'm not sure if I've talked about this already. Maybe. I don't know. We've got a lot of videos already, and I can't keep track of what I talk about. So a lorry is a truck. In Canada and pretty much North America, you'll hear a truck. So lorry versus truck, and I'm not talking like a pickup truck. I'm talking like a commercial, like a larger truck versus lorry. Lorry, truck. What a wonderful world. Now another one that's a bit silly for Canada actually is the difference between rubbish here in England versus garbage in Canada. Now this is really dumb for us because here in England you would say, I need to put the rubbish in the bin. Okay, so you're gonna throw something out into the bin being the bin that takes the rubbish. Okay, so that's fairly straightforward. I need to throw the rubbish in the bin. The rubbish goes in the bin. Yes? Okay. Now, in Canada, ours does not make sense. Rubbish, the equivalent in Canada, and primarily again Ontario's where I'm talking about, is garbage. So rubbish versus garbage. Where does the garbage go? In the garbage. We use the same word. Now some people might say a garbage bag or the garbage bin or something like that, but it is reasonable to hear. I need to put the garbage, like where's the garbage? Oh, the garbage is over there. Okay, I'll take this garbage and I'll go put it in the garbage. Why? So that one's really silly. At least here in England you have two separate words. You have the rubbish and then you have a bin and you put the rubbish in the bin. In Canada, we like to put the garbage in the garbage. Now, as we're approaching like wedding season, if you will, a lot of people are going away on a hen do or a stag do. So that's what you would say here in England. A hen do would be for the women, a stag do would be for the men, and it's usually a multi-day party for the bride to be or the groom to be. And a lot of people actually go away, so they might go to Spain or Turkey or something and have this really big hen do or a stag do. Now in Canada, we have a different culture around this sort of party. So you might have a bachelorette party. You might have a bachelor party where it's two separate parties. You go out with your friends and you party. It's usually just a night though. It's not that big. Or you might have a stag and do party, or a stag and doe party, I think is what we call it. A stag and doe in Canada. Now a stag and doe is a joint party where you have like all your friends and family come someplace, and there's usually like raffles and stuff. It's kind of hard to explain, but a stag and doe helps raise money that you then put towards your wedding, if that makes sense at all. It's obviously also a lot tamer than the hen do's and the stag do's here in England. There's been so many times where I have been on the train, maybe going to London, and there's a group of, 8 fully grown men all dressed up. So they usually do fancy dress, which is another word we don't use in Canada. We'll talk about that another time. And these men may be all dressed up as animals. Or as I saw one time in London, there was a stag do of all the men dressed as Mr. Monopoly. And they were doing some sort of scavenger hunt thing in London, and they were all wasted. So the hen do's and the stag do's here in England, and I think for the most part across the UK, can get very wild. People get dressed up, people go full out. It's a big, big event, multi-day typically. Whereas in Canada, a bachelorette party or a bachelor party is usually like a one night kind of thing. Or you do a joint thing that's a stag and doe, and it's more about your family and your friends coming, and you actually kind of raise money for your wedding. It is what it is. Now on top of that, this will be the last one. If you go to a hen party, the likelihood is you're gonna get pissed. Now as a Canadian, when I hear pissed, I think angry, it's a negative emotion. Somebody is pissed at me, somebody's mad, somebody's angry, but pissed here in England, and I think most of the UK, means drunk. So that can be confusing. So you go on a hen do, you get pissed, which I guess the equivalent in Canada, you go on a bachelorette party and you get smashed. So smashed is drunk. They both mean drunk, but like quite drunk. So like pissed versus smashed, but really they both mean drunk. Fantastic. So those are some of the weird words and phrases that are different here in England versus Canada, and more specifically Kent versus Ontario. If you guys can come up with any other ones, I'd love to know, because I genuinely like doing these videos. And for all my English as a second language people, again, I'm so sorry. You should probably get English lessons from somebody else. Not here. Also, I just want to do a little shout out. If you guys want an extra video every week, I post a private video on Patreon. You can join my Patreon and get an additional video. Private video doesn't really sound quite right. You get a second video each week, basically, through my Patreon. That's just Adventures in Apps. And there's a link down below. This is a little plug. Hey, how's it going? I hope you enjoy it. There's a link down below in all my videos to my Patreon, but I don't really talk about it because it kind of makes me feel weird. But I do make the most money through Patreon, so I can actually keep doing this kind of stuff, which means a lot to me. So if you are interested in a way to support me, Patreon is the most supportive? Patreon is the best way to support me if you can. I realize not everybody can, but you also get additional like photos and access to other things and a second video every week. So that's it. That's my plug. I feel ashamed. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!